There are multiple things that you can learn from this entire situation, but two things that we're going to take away from this right now. First and foremost, okay, this tweet right here, it's only what, 4-5 days old at this point, and it has aged like fine cottage cheese on top of a radiator. Is one of the quintessentially worst tweets that I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's also case number one of get woke, go broke. It's amazing how terrible a well-intentioned business, company, anything, because there was so much hope for all of the people that were involved with the recreation of G4, X-Play, all that type of stuff. But then, unfortunately, you're not gatekeeping the right people out of that situation. And hey, man, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's the shit that happens. But Frosk, she fucking out of there. Guess what? She would have survived that if she wouldn't have put out that stupid goddamn tweet and continued to fight with everybody. Because again, X-Play, G4, they were doing totally fine until she went on her spurg fit at the beginning of this year, okay? Because we even got the video, I got both of the channels pulled up here. So G4TV, 132,000 subscriber channel, okay? What's the about page sitting at? It's got all the links to all the different channels that are down there, okay? 2 million views. It's been around, I don't know, being dormant for a minute, but we can just go back and take a look at all the videos that are on here. Here, I'll just get the hell out of the way. How about that one? We put this, put the big boy on blast right here. Oh, they're live right now. 132,000 people on the channel. Attack, some offshoot of Attack of the Show, and you got 685 people watching. That's good, I guess. Streamed 3 hours ago, 1,400 viewers. Oh, okay. 6,200 viewers. Oh, that one's got 20K. Oh, okay. That's not too bad. Oh, you got Nico Lull on there. That's the OK Boomer girl, right? So, oh, you bring on a bunch of those titty streamers that Frosk was railing against, and you actually get some views, as opposed to everything else that's on here. 10K, 5.7K. But then you just go back and you take a look at some of the most popular live streams, and they're all from a year ago. 193,000 viewers. Oh, that one's from 2 weeks ago. Oh, okay, cool. Hey man, good. Looks like something's doing good there. Oh, but another one from a year ago, a month ago. Oh, a year ago, a month ago. Looks like that Hey Donna thingy is pretty popular. But all things considered, you only have 2 streams over the course of a year. That's actually higher than your subscriber count. That's a little dubious in and of itself. But then you take a look at the X-Play channel. Okay, 490,000. That's where a majority of their content, all of their reviews, all of Adam Sessler's stuff goes on there as well. And as you can see, oh yeah, brand new stuff. Posted a day ago, 23,000 views on a 490,000 subscriber channel. 6.4 thousand for that God of Work series that's just really going gangbusters. I feel bad for Gerard. He's a nice guy, but dude, you've found yourself being the captain of a sinking ship. A lot of 20K views. That wouldn't be bad for a much smaller channel, but you're dealing with nearly 500,000 subscribers and you can barely crack 20K. Like, again, I'm not doing the most thorough of a search here, but seeing some very, very consistent viewer figures, and it's 5% of your subscribership. Whereas you run everything back from the beginning. Oh yeah, there's about 1 million for the reunion special. Okay, that's a one-off. That's fine. So this was right here at the beginning after X-Play was all relaunched over a year ago. 48,000, 33,000 views, 103,000 views of Adam Sessler just bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining into a microphone. Whole bunch of stuff with Gerard. Still pulling 129,000 over here for this boy. 50,000, 41,000, 60,000. Then, as we talked about before in the previous video, what was that, over the weekend or something like that? Right at the beginning of the year, just about at the midway point of January, so we're at about that time. You're taking a look, and it's like X-Play's kicking, not doing all that bad, because yeah, they had fewer than the 490,000 subscribers that they have right now. So yeah, 45,000, 67,000, 76,000, 71,000. Everything's all well and good. And then Frosk drops her rant because, again, they put that all private and they got rid of that video before, okay? And then you take a look at their numbers afterwards. Oh, 42,000, 21,000, 21,000, 33,000. Oh, and then everything starts to, 2,200. 12,000. Still got some 40s. Then it really starts to dive bomb after that. 4 months. So, okay, 4 months after that, Bruce Campbell. They even bring on Bruce Campbell. Okay, 20K. 29K for another lab video. And then 3 months, then you start to get down to the real nitty gritty, and you can't even pull half of what you were doing at the beginning. So it's almost like you have a direct correlation between when somebody decides to make the entire platform all about me, and my little social causes out there that I continue to bicker about over on social media, and then you just dive bomb an entire company. And on top of that, okay, you want to dance on the corpse of the buried bodies that you just dug yourself. You're a real hunk of shit human being. But hey, now you can go join them on the unemployment line. A week after big layoffs rocked the network, Kotaku has learned that X-Play host Indiana Frosk and Black is no longer with G4. No talent was lost and none was sent. So fuck off. Comcast, G4's parent company. So again, they had such high hopes for all this shit. They wanted to have a big platform online because this is fucking Comcast after all. They have bottomless goddamn pockets. So they were willing to sink so much money into this stuff. But if you don't have anybody fucking watching, do you really have a platform? No. If they wanted to save this shit to begin with, they should have cut her out at the beginning, okay? Because this is what happens. This is what happens when you double down on all that messaging. Nobody was calling for her to lose her job at the time, okay? It's sexism in gaming, and if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. Well, they listened to your advice there, Frosk, and nobody started to watch, and then you ended up costing how many dozens of people's livelihoods, people that actually needed this, somebody who doesn't have a name or a reputation in the industry and can't just go and force their way into another company. But anyways, back to this. Comcast, G4's parent company, bought out the remainder of her contract, according to two sources familiar with the business. So they were totally ready to fulfill her contract for whoever knows how long it was going to be. I'm sure it was probably for a couple of years. Because again, this has only been just a shade over a year in the making when they signed everybody up. I would imagine it was probably, a 2-3 year contract? That's normally how this stuff goes. But no, they just decided, we'll just buy out what's remaining on there because you're less of a headache somewhere else than you would be here. The news was announced eternally by the head of the network, Joe Marsh, in a town hall meeting on Tuesday morning. So earlier today, I wonder what could have possibly changed the company's opinion on her if they were going to keep her around and then all of a sudden just decide Tuesday morning, nah, we just got to get everything together. I'd imagine this probably would have been made Monday, or even over the weekend, because again, she posted this, I think, what is that, Friday morning? Yeah, posted that Friday morning, so they just decided, oh, fuck, we got to get a bunch of people together, write up some contracts, figure out how much money we need to shell out, and just get this fucking bitch out of here because we can't be handling this shit any fucking more. Oh, yes, and she released another tweet, okay, and got it right here. Thank you so much to G4 and the talented X-Play and esports departments. Loved working with you guys and dive bombing your fucking company. Especially gonna miss Jax. Don't know who the fuck that is. Don't care who the fuck that is. How about all of the other people that got fired in the wake of your narcissistic rampage? Black was one of the main hosts of X-Play alongside Gerard Khalil, Corey, the Black Hokage, is that one of those anime things? Whatever. Smallwood, and Adam Sessler. Oh, okay. Is that the rest of the people that are sitting around the table? Is Corey Smallwood the black guy or the white girl? I don't fucking know, nor do I really care. I'm not watching any of this fucking nonsense. Sessler stepped back from programming earlier this year to address family medical issues. Oh, what did he find out? Another one of his family members was a Republican, so he needed to buy a bunch of champagne so he could sit back and drink it when they're going through a medical trauma, because he's that type of motherfucker. Black came to G4 from the League of Legends esports scene after nobody wanted to work with her because, again, she was trying to force her little pet projects onto them. So they're like, get the fuck out. And she's like, no, sexism. And it's like, ugh, fuck off. Where she was a color commentator. Of course, it's always about color with her. In addition to discussing the latest news and helping review games, Black was also occasionally outspoken. Oh yeah, okay. Especially on the misogynistic comments and harassments often leveled at more diverse reboot to the network. It was doing fucking fine beforehand, and people liked, okay, because again, you take a look at the people that are sitting around this table. Like, I have no idea who two of these people are, and I've been, very upfront and honest about the fact that, yeah, I've met Gerard. He's a really good guy, and I wish him nothing but success into the future. And he really, 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 really wanted to be a part of this G4 reboot, okay? That was one of the things that he used to talk about in his old videos all the time. He wanted to be a part of something like this. And then when this opportunity was afforded to him, I was so fucking happy for the dude because I know how good of a man he is. And then Adam Sessler, total fucking nut job, but incredibly good at this job right here. So they definitely deserve to be on this panel. And Frosk, she's hated everywhere that she fucking goes, okay? Don't know about the rest of them, okay? They could be incredibly talented at that type of stuff, but I know the couple of other people that work there as well. This Golden Boy guy, okay? He's also known in the esports community, especially within the fighting community as well. He's incredibly good at the commentary type of stuff, so he definitely deserves to be there. And Austin, or whatever the fuck his name is, Xavier Woods in the Fed, okay? He's there in some form or fashion too, and he always wanted to be a part of G4. Big fucking gamer. It's a big part of his presentation, even when he is being a professional wrestler. All of those people deserve those positions because they are very good, and they also have a following. Now, you could also see by the link that's provided here, Frosk has a Twitch page, and apparently she's going to be live or some shit like that tomorrow. I ain't going to fucking watch any of this stuff. This is going to be my last video on this, more than likely, unless she goes on some big fucking screed on that. But my entire point really doesn't have much to do with her. This is just what happens when you get woke, okay? You have to cut that shit out from the get-go. Otherwise, it ruins your project. There's nobody who's ever better off, especially when it comes from a company sales perspective. Like, do you think people have a better opinion of Nike now or before all of the Colin Kaepernick shit? Which, again, I don't know how many more fucking tracksuits that ended up ultimately selling, other than, you know, Colin Kaepernick ended up enriching himself and getting a whole bunch of other fucking contracts off the back of that. Anyways, in a January episode, she called out sexist expectations and double standards on some G4 viewers in a speech that the co-host Adam Sessler called one of the most amazing things I've ever been a part of on live TV. Well, it was a fucking live stream, you bald-headed cunt. Two sources Kotaku spoke to with speculation on the timing of the decision may have been related to the September 15th tweet. The I survived smoke weed every day iguana that was there. Let's play some games, yo. I survived. 20 to 30 people got fucking laid off that day. Good timing. Great self-awareness on that one. In which Black posted a meme saying, I survived. It's likely aimed at those who had celebrated the G4 layoff, hoping that Black would be among them. Why would you feel the need, other than the fact that she's just an outright narcissist? Like, this just goes above and beyond females' innate solipsism to make everything about them. But no, you're obviously going to have online commentators. And if it was just that, people losing their job and G4 being a sinking ship and Frosk not adding to this, I wouldn't have mentioned anything of that. But of course, she has to add in her 2 cents and really not contribute anything of substance to the conversation other than, you know, signing her own termination papers. G4 and Black did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Black's departure seems far from the only likely shakeup coming. While you got Sessler on the outside looking in, G4 faces officially or financially pressure to increase revenue while cutting costs. 3 sources familiar with the business tell Kotaku they face far bigger focus on lower budget personality-led Twitch streamers. Oh, okay, cool. So now you're just going to become a platform. It's like a loose association. It's more or less like, yeah, I'm affiliated with G4TV, and yeah, no, that's all great and stuff, and oh yeah, I like X-Play too, and so it's just going to be like a, what are they just going to morph into, like a multi-channel network, like the old days of Machinima and full screen, Polaris, all that type of shit? Like, is that what it's going to be? According to one source, Kevin Pereira, the host of Attack of the Show, is also set to leave G4 sometime in October. So yeah, he's on the way out. Sessler's on the outside looking in, so what's left? I guess until the end of whatever that fucking anemic run of the God of Work wraps up. But that's what you ultimately get when you decide to fight ghosts that aren't even there. You decided to go on this rant in January about sexism in gaming because you had a bad take about there being no exclusives for Sony. People were calling you out on that, and it's like, nobody calls out the other men that write the scripted reviews that we read on our live streams, okay? Why don't you go after everybody else? No, it's the fucking internet, okay? They're gonna make fun of literally anybody. You could be a perfect fucking 10. and then there'll be some asshole in the chat or leaving a comment, mid wouldn't bang. It's like, it makes no fucking sense. People are shitty on the internet under anonymous names, using anime profile pictures. Okay, that's the fucking internet. Are you new here? It's something that Amazon is also going to have to reckon with as well, because we also got this, okay? Like, I've done a couple of videos on this, and I've also made mention of this, and I wanted to give some kind of an update to it, but there just hasn't been anything. It's just been apathy, which is always the best way to address these situations. You don't like something, the promotional material of something that you were at least tacitly interested in just keeps telling you that if you don't like it, you're a racist or a misogynist or a bigot, anything like that, and just, oh, okay, fine then. I guess it's not for me. I'll just see myself out. That's the way that people are approaching the rings of power. Because again, I'd give you some up-to-date viewing statistics, but outside of the first giant claim that 25 million people watched the premiere of Lord of the Rings of Power, just flows right off the tongue. And then they had to amend that to say 25 million people sampled it. The fuck does that mean? Oh, they clicked on it and then they clicked off of it. 25 million. Yes. Oh, okay. That's what you mean. What happened for week 2? No. Oh, okay, cool. You don't want to release those numbers? No, we don't. Okay. Because you also got some other numbers that are out there as well that said, maybe it was like 1.8 million people. Oh, that's a wait. Make those numbers make sense. We don't have to. We're Amazon, and it's all streaming numbers, so we know how many people watched. Okay. We know how many people clicked on the button. Okay. We don't have to tell you. Okay. But that's been the most interesting thing about anything that's come out of this. Because again, I've been listening to some reviews by some people whose opinions on this type of stuff that I appreciate. And they're just saying, it's boring, okay? Galadriel's a cunt and all the fucking CGI is excessive. And some points it looks cheap and nothing is fucking happening. That's the gist of what everybody's been consistent with their criticisms of so far. The people championing this show say, oh my god, some of the landscape shots look so good. You take the visual praise or criticism out of the way, you have the people, the critiques on one hand saying that no, there's nothing happening, it's boring as fuck and all the characters are just bland as hell. And then when it comes to the praise side, if you take away the visuals, they've got nothing. Oh, okay. So just like with Frosk and G4, they went whole hog on the whole, you're a racist misogynist if you don't appreciate what we're giving to you. Rings of Power has been doing this for a long old fucking time. Now they are reaping what they sow. Let's read a little bit of this. Amazon? There's no such thing as Amazon, but there is an Amazon. Has a long road ahead planned for the Lord of the Rings of Power. It's $1 billion series. Yes, with the plans to allegedly run as long as 5 years. No, 5 seasons. It'll be much longer than that because they still have some construction to do on the new set that they're creating in England because they can't film in New Zealand anymore. It's a long fucking story, okay? But no, don't expect season 2 because right now, okay? They're halfway through the first fucking season. Haven't even began filming yet on the second season. So at least going to be 18 months before you see any of this fucking shit progress. It's not like people are champing at the bit for this right now because the apathy is strong with this one because we haven't seen any continuous numbers come out when you compare and contrast that with Game of Thrones spin-off of the House of the Dragon. Just saying that, yeah, viewership just continues to rise on it and people are starting to like it. And again, all of the detractors that were ready to hate on House of the Dragon gave it a chance. And it's like, no, I actually like that. As opposed to Lord of the Rings, it's like, okay, I'll give it a chance. It's like, nope, this is just boring fucking nonsense. But this article will also do that comparing and contrasting as well. But even though the show has set records for Amazon's original viewership, it almost had to. Yeah, because it was pressed so hard on the marketing of just the Amazon shopping app itself and obviously on Amazon Video. But now if you take a look at any of those apps, you don't see much marketing for it at all. I don't know why. Like everything that they have, especially when it comes to creating original programming, because Amazon Video itself isn't going to go away if this becomes a total flop at the end of the first. Well, they're kind of just hamstrung for 2 seasons, but the streaming service isn't going to be going away. But original content after this, that could be a little bit more of a dicey proposition, because remember, Amazon earlier this year also bought MGM. Yes, the movie house, MGM. They have it. They bought it. They own the rights to Rocky, James Bond, all of those lauded franchises that they can rape and pilfer from. So yeah, either the fail or the success of this show right here is going to be changing the streaming service, or the streaming platform rather, model in some form or fashion. But anyways, back to this. As we hit the halfway point of Season 1, it seems that the audience as a whole have not been swayed by the series. While I expected, the author here, the various controversies this show generated to result in a barrage of negative reviews right at launch, the weeks that followed have not brought any sort of relief for the Rings of Power. Yeah, no, you got your regular review bombing, but you also don't want to talk about the love bombing that it received as well, the amount of people, which again, we went through and we took a look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores. I don't know where all the hate is coming from. This is just fucking perfect, in my opinion. 10 stars. Yeah, it's right up there with Godfather Part 1 and 2, okay? Fucking Goodfellas, Gladiator, Aliens, okay? It's just right up there. It's just, yeah, top tier content. It can't even hold a candle, or rather, Peter Jackson's trilogy can't even hold a candle to this masterpiece that you have on your hands. For fuck's sakes, just, again, they only want to look at one side of this shit. Instead of scratching your head and it's like, why do people have to run defense? Okay, maybe it's just not that good. Nope, it's clearly everybody else. By all available metrics, which aren't many, there is no place where fans have rallied to give the show consistently high marks. Yeah, like outside of your two extreme ends, okay? You take your 1s and 2s out of the way and your 9s and 10s out of the way. What are you left with? Not much. Really, there's no engagement. There's no buzz about this. There was a lot for the beginning because it was well publicized, and then after that, like, it comes out on Thursdays. Cool. With the scores not having improved noticeably, the more episodes that have been rolled out, which will sometimes see more initial period of bombing skepticism. Here's where things stand after 4 weeks with Rings of Power episodes. Rotten Tomatoes, yeah, it hasn't moved 39%, up from 36 at launch, and I think when I made my screenshot, it was 35 or 34 or something like that. Now it's just locked at 39 because, of course, it is. 85% from the critics, Metacritic 71, audience 2.4, IMDb owned by Amazon 6.9 nice percent. Oh, I'm sorry, 6.9 nice out of 10. There we go. Google audience reviews, I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing. 3.2 out of 5. Okay. And Amazon reviews, yeah, initially turned off during launch week. It was supposed to be for 3 days. Then it just continued to keep going. 3.3 out of 5. Wow. You're being completely fair. Outside of the audience score on Metacritic, and obviously the audience approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, you could glean from that it's kind of consistently approved of, because all of that's still 60, 70, 85%. So why don't you want to release the viewing figures, Amazon? Oh, it's almost like you've realized the error in your ways. Everyone does not like me comparing Rings of Power to HBO's also high-budget fantasy series House of the Dragon. Why? Why? Because it kind of shatters any of the excuses that you'd have at the ready? But needless to say, despite enduring similar initial race and gender-based casting controversies, its audience scores are much higher. Yeah, you had what's it called? A Targaryen that was race swapped to be a black guy, which is like, it doesn't really make much sense if you're familiar with the source material. I don't know a fucking thing about Game of Thrones, okay? I didn't watch this shit. Fantasy's not really my gimmick. But again, I just like to look at this stuff as a case study, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. You want to double down on all this stuff going into it. People will go into it with a certain level of skepticism, and you have to prove them wrong in order to create fans. Fucking weird concept. I know it's foreign to Hollywood today. The scores are generally... the low scores are generally the product of either fans saying the show strays too much from Tolkien's original world, or just not thinking the series is very well written or paced. Yeah, no, it's kind of the latter, okay? Because again, if you go to the source material of the Second Age of Tolkien stuff, not really a whole lot there. But again, yeah, you're obviously going to have the same people who would also make the criticisms of the Marvel films that are out there. It's not loyal to the source material. You're obviously going to have that. And you even had that going back to the Peter Jackson trilogy of the Lord of the Rings films, okay? It's not loyal. Where's Tom Bombadil? What about the Scouring of the Shire at the end of the Return of the King, okay? Certain things were fucking amended, okay? There's no eye on top of the fucking tower in Mordor, okay? It makes for a better representation in the films, okay? To actually have something physically there, physically imposing. Okay, the mouth of Sauron didn't look like a souped up ring wraith, and it had a fucking flaming skull, and it's like, I think probably did a better job. But there's a couple of changes that are made the purists of the material think is, you know, just absolute dog shit, and other people who either don't know it or know the material and think that the improvements are necessary to make a more coherent and functional story when presented on film, not opposed to the books, okay? But you're always going to have that debate between the fandom, and that's fine because you're actually discussing things that are important to the story, not interjecting your intersectionality on top of it just to throw a fucking monkey wrench in it for no good reason. It remains to be seen if there's a moment when Rings of Power will be able to kick it into a different gear and convert skeptics. No, you're running out of time, especially for the first season, okay? You're halfway through it, and it's not expected to pick up any fucking time soon. Halfway through season 1, we're starting to bring the characters closer together, and perhaps more storylines will intersect. Yeah, maybe. Or Galadriel will just continue to just have stupid one-liners that don't make any goddamn sense. And more big battles. Oh, like another snow troll that she'll just go ahead and fucking solo? How adorable. Oh, we'll be on the way, but for now, the show has trouble making the kind of Game of Thrones level impact that Amazon wanted to see. Yeah, that was their entire point behind this, because Amazon thought that, hey, we can just go ahead and have our own Game of Thrones, because we'll have the Lord of the Rings license, not understanding that, yeah, just because you see a sword and sorcery stuff doesn't mean that you're going to have a one-to-one comparison there. Game of Thrones is much different than Lord of the Rings, okay? Like if Francis Ford Coppola wanted to make a more timely version of Godfather Part 3 and he wanted to base it all totally off of the work of Martin Scorsese with Goodfellas, Casino, and those mob flicks he was doing back in the early 90s. They're totally different works, okay? They don't have much in common other than the setting themselves. But again, this is what happens when you have a bunch of wealthy children up at the top just wanting to make things work, fit that square peg into that round hole. Eventually, you might be able to break the frame in order to make it work, but that's a trick you can only do once and get away with. Unless, of course, you break the fucking mold so terribly, nobody wants to give you a second shot. What's clear is that Amazon is in this for the long haul. Maybe at least 2 seasons, and would expect them to see their ultimate vision for the series through, barring some sort of massive viewership collapse, which we're kind of seeing with them not admitting any of the numbers right now. That even through all of this, I doubt we will see. Oh, okay. Yeah, we might not see the numbers. They'll just go out and say it was an astounding success. Yeah, just don't ask us to qualify and don't ask for the receipts because we don't have any. They're committed to the project, though perhaps they will absorb the feedback and make some changes in the future seasons to attract the sort of audience that appear to be rejecting the series at the moment. God fucking willing. Because again, I'm not going to watch any of this shit. I don't care how fucking good or bad it is at the end of the day, but for the people who are invested in the source material, who really like the Jackson trilogy, I like them well enough, okay? I've probably seen Two Towers about a dozen times or something like that. But if you guys are going to be in this for the long haul, okay, you understand that, oh fuck, maybe our marketing and all of our promotion kind of really pissed off any of the potential fans that might be out there. Seeing what's happening right now to another well-meaning, well-intentioned network that ended up starting with humble origins only to fall flat on its fucking face, maybe they'll decide to course correct and not descend into obscurity. But if they do, hey, fuck it. At least, you know, one other person that's going to be sitting there bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining about sexism in gaming. She's lonely. She could use some friends. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.